Morning. You are analog students outside. Your name? Ajay Kiran. What is your background?
Graduated in 2020 from aeronautical engineering.
Aeronautical. Wonderful.
Now I'm currently working at cybersecurity analyst.
Oh, good. Aeronautics and cyber security.
There were no much opportunity in aeronautical background.
I think because most of this aviation industry is captured by Middle East, Qatar, Etihad. I think now Tata is aggressively making entry into that. Good. How about you? BCom computer. Which college? Babu Jagjivan Ram. How about you? Nitin. You completed? Okay. Travel and tourism management. Bhubaneswar? Harvard. I think in Bhubaneswar also you have one reputed institute. Okay. Because someone studied there, that is how I know. Thanks. So you're all analog or outside analog? Outside. So what made you to choose PSIR? Did you make your mind or just you have come to see whether PSIR is viable or not? So do you have that inclination? Do you read newspapers? Which paper? Hindu alone. Do you have any interest in politics? You follow? Huh? You follow? You are affiliated to parties? Huh. Then what is that you study in politics? When you read paper, what is that you follow?
Being neutral to the like not inclined towards any political party.
Okay.
Just about the latest happening.
What interest you have in reading? That's what I'm asking you. When you say politics, what is that you look at in newspapers? Social issues. You have come to attend the demo? You have come to attend this class? మీ పేరు కల్పన అనలాగా So social issues. So you have come to the point. What is the social issue? Why are you interested in social issues?
I was interested in watching news channels and reading.
No, when you said social issues, what does attract you? Why you are focused on social issues?
Happening, so it will be injustice to the people.
That is what I want. What you want is to understand that justice prevails in society. Politics deals with justice. All political situation evolves in realizing justice, whichever may be the society, irrespective of the nature of society, whether you are in America, whether you are in India, whether you are in the past, or whether you are in the present, or whether you will be in future, right, down the line, 2100 years, or even in 2000, say we are in 2024, even in 2124, we will be again discussing the same issue. This is where politics is, right? Politics deals with evolving societies. Evolving in the sense they are not stagnant, they are not static, right? They keep changing. Whether they are changing for the good or whether they are changing for the bad. This is where the politics is. So if you are ultimately looking at politics, you are only looking at who makes the decision. Who makes the decision? Whether the decision is legitimate. Right? First thing what you look at is who makes the decision. Is the decision legitimate? Second point what we understand in politics is why should I obey the rule? Why should I obey the decision? On one side, how rules are made. On the other side, why should I obey the rule? Right? There has to be some purpose. And that purpose is justice. Why obey the rule? Why should I obey the rule? When will I obey the rule? When I am also making part of the rule-making process. By casting my vote in election, I have transferred my decision-making power to the elected representatives. So whatever decisions they make, I accept. Because that is a decision made on my behalf. So I accept the rule. Right? If Modi demonetizes, I accept it. I accept it because I have elected Prime Minister Modi to eradicate black money. Right? So there is a rule. A rule is made and this rule is accepted. So all political decisions evolve around this. How you make decisions and why should I obey the decision? Right? Obeying of decision is political obligation. What is my obligation? What is my obligation to accept the decision made? Right? And second point, who makes the decision and why do they make the decision? Who makes and why do they make? So this is what is happening with respect to politics from the past to present into future. Even 100 years later, you will discuss the same thing. Who makes the decision? And why should I obey the decision? Understand? So this is evolving. So you find different interpretations. Everyone comes with their own interpretation of the societal life. This is what we accept as an understanding of the societal life. Because someone defines it, this is how the society is, then we accept it. Right? Otherwise, we may not accept it. As simple as that. So all political decisions should help in realizing justice. Because justice is something that evades. If it is a perfectly just society, then all decisions are blindly accepted. But if the decisions are not promoting a just social order, then you find social issues. So when there are multiple social issues, you want someone to come with a firm decision making to help create a just social order. Right? So just social order has to be something constructed. It is not given. No social order is given. If you accept something as given, then you may accept even hierarchies as given. If you accept something as given, given means something which cannot be changed. Nature is something given. You cannot change the nature. But you have to adopt to the nature. You cannot change. You have to adopt. Simple that. But nothing is given. Everything is constructed. If societies are constructed, they are not natural, but constructed, then we can create a new society where justice prevails. So politics deals with this. So if you understand this central theme of politics or political life, any question that appears, you can write. Simple. All that you understand from ancient Greek to the present contemporary understanding, it revolves around this question. It revolves around this question, how to create a just society. Because societies are not given. They are not part of nature. They are something artificially created. Artificially means humans make society. If humans make society, then we can always create a good society. At least a possibility to create, right? So how do you create a just society? By maintaining just social order. So politics helps in maintaining just social order. That's the reason why I said just social order means where the rule that is made is acceptable to all. Right? If I make a rule, if everyone accepts to that rule, that means it's a just society as far as political is concerned. Because rule is appreciated. Everyone thinks the rule that is made is fair. It equally applies to all. Understand? But in case if the rule does not appear to be fair, then probably you may need some alterations, change. Right? Without changing the rule, you cannot construct a just society. So to construct a just society, you may need to intervene. This is where we talk about state affirmative action. State interfering into the society by privileging the underprivileged. Privileging the underprivileged. Then it appears just. Even those privileged think, yes, the decision of the state is right. Why? Because there are certain people who are deprived of the basic needs of society. So it is justified, right? But this justification comes with a time limit. Down the line, maybe the society's perception change. They may not accept the privileging of the underprivileged. But it has to be a stopgap arrangement. Stopgap arrangement in constructing a good society. Right? That's the reason why I said societies are evolving. This evolution takes place because political decisions help in constructing new societies. The societies are not stagnant. Who is bringing change? Politics. The politics and society are interrelated. So when you look at politics or political decision making, politics centers around one idea, decision making. Who makes the decision? Whether the decision is right or wrong. Right? This is the central theme of political life. What is the central theme of political life? How to create a just social order. That means how to promote order in society. Just social order. It has to be just society and there has to be order within society. So all politics, that's the reason why central to all political decision making is security to society and security to the people, security to their property. This is where you find order, security to the people, security to the society. Who is vested with the responsibility to secure India today? Prime Minister, whom we have elected. We have elected him to maintain security. Security of the society, security of the individual, security of the property. Right? But it is only one dimension. Politics cannot always remain limited to maintain security. If you want to maintain security, then you may probably promote dictators. That is not the idea. Right? Security is important. But at the same time, individual freedom is also equally important. Security is important and individual freedom is important. So political decisions have to maintain a balance between the individual and the community. Political decisions have to maintain the balance between the individual and the community. This is where just society is. What is a just society? Just society is a society which maintains a balance, healthy balance between the individual freedom and the community organization. If it can succeed in doing that, it's a just social order. You cannot ignore the freedom of the individual and you cannot ignore the community. Both are important because we are essential ingredient of a community. Got it? So politics helps in arriving at decisions which should help in promoting or constructing a society which is evolving. So every political decision is similar to an architect. It is some sort of an architecture that is created, an edifice that is created, right? Which helps in terms of maintaining a balance between individual and community. If you know this, you can write any question. The struggle in politics from ancient Greek to the present is in maintaining this balance between individual freedom and community life. Right? For example, if you look at the Greeks, Greek thinkers believed community as a moralizing agent. From Socrates to Aristotle, they had this understanding that community is a moralizing agent. So individual is shaped by the community. Individual is shaped by the community life. That's the reason why they gave primacy to community. They thought if you maintain a good community life, that means you are also helping to develop good individuals because community is a moralizing agent. That's the reason why ancient Greek thought only focused on promoting an ethical way of life. Ethics comes not with individual. If you are alone, you don't need any ethics. Ethics comes when you are part of a community. Ethical way of life inherently believes in collective life. In the absence of collective, you don't need any ethics. If you are a standalone person, living on your own, you don't need any ethics. When do you need ethics? When your actions impact the others. So only when you are part of a collective. If you are not a part of any collective, you don't need any ethics. So Greek thinking believed that community has this potential as a moralizing agent. It can shape good citizens. Community can create good citizens. This is what Socrates believed. This is what Plato believed. This is what Aristotle believed. So the whole ancient thought centers around one aspect, community as a moralizing agent. Otherwise, we are wavering individuals. Wavering individuals have to be brought under collective life. How to bring them? So they focused on ethics, not politics. So the decision should be ethically justified. That's the reason why politics and ethics are not separate as far as ancient Greek is concerned. They combined ethics and politics. Any political decision should necessarily be ethical decision. Look in Plato, look in Aristotle, look in Socrates. They only believed that all political decisions should be necessarily ethical decision because it should promote quality of life. Ethical decisions, ethics promote quality of life. That's the reason why politics in its origin in its origin focused on community life, collective life. Community as a moralizing agent. How community can shape the individual. This is where it was limited. So the stress is more on collective life rather than on individual life. This perception changed when we come to modern times, particularly with French Revolution. Community as a moralizing agent continued probably for almost 2000 years. 1787 French Revolution. It heralded a new beginning. French Revolution itself is the genesis of new ideas. And what are the new ideas? These new ideas moved away from community to individual. They wanted to assert the individual. That's the reason why French Revolution promoted liberty, equality, and fraternity. Individual freedom is foremost as far as political decision making is concerned. So individual acquired primacy, community secondary. For ancient Greeks, community primary, individual secondary. Because ancient Greek thought everything is natural. Everything is natural. Humans are natural. Society is natural. State is natural. If it is natural, we cannot change. Community is natural. So you cannot stay away from community. So Aristotle made one popular statement. Humans are social animal. State is natural. Society is natural. Natural means something given which you cannot change. If you cannot change, what you have to do? You have to maintain harmony with that. If you cannot change nature, what you will do? You try to maintain harmony with nature. This is what you call adaptability. You try to adapt. Harmony means you try to adapt to the nature. Same thing. If you cannot change something, right? If you cannot change your father, what you will do? If you cannot change your father, what you will do? You will try to adopt. Right? You will try to adopt at least till you become an adult and start living on your own. Right? You know you cannot change. When you cannot change something, you accept it and you try to adopt to that. This is how Greeks thought. Because they thought everything is natural. Everything is part of nature. Society is natural. State is natural. Humans are natural. So we have to maintain harmony with nature. So obligation does not come with individual. Obligation appear to be natural. You have to accept the decision because it is natural. You cannot change it. Whatever the decision state makes, whatever the values society promotes, even Greeks practiced slavery. Slavery was a justified institution. That means slavery was an accepted value in Greek. They accepted it. That's the reason why no one questioned it. Patriarchy was an accepted value in society. That's the reason women were relegated to domestic life. Accepted. They thought it cannot be changed. Given. Patriarchy is given. Right? But this perception changed with the modern ideas. Modern ideas are centered around individual, not community. From ethical way of life, we moved to asserting individual. Individual who was submerged into the community started feeling life meaningless. So the focus of modern political thinking is, why should I accept the law? Greeks, they said community is the moralizing agent. So you accept the decision of the community. It is good for you and as well as society. So hierarchies continue to be practiced. Patriarchy continues to be practiced. Hierarchy means society is divided into hierarchical relationship. they acquired justification. Slavery continued to be practiced. No one questioned it because they believed that society is moralizing. If you are part of societal life, you have to adopt. But this perception changed when we came to modern times. And a modern idea is individual is born free and equal. It rejected hierarchies. It rejected collective hierarchies and argued that individual is born free and equal. So all ideas centered around protecting this individual freedom. So if individual is born free and equal, that means nothing is given. So whatever I believe is right is right. Whatever I believe is right is right. So from this, we got this idea of state only as a moderator, because every individual is free and equal. And each individual comes with their own freedom. If they come with their own freedom, we have to respect the freedoms of all. This is where individuality or the autonomy of the individual is recognized. But we are essential part of collective life. So how to maintain a balance between individual freedom and collective life? In the Greek, it was easy because you are told community is all important. Maintain harmony with community life. You are secure. But today the perception changed, modern times. We thought individual is important, not collective. So how to maintain a balance? How to protect individual autonomy? Right? So the struggle was in terms of autonomy and authority. How to maintain balance between autonomy and authority. From this we got liberal democracy. In terms of maintaining autonomy and authority, we got liberal democracy. Liberal democracy means where it recognizes the freedom of the individual. And authority means what we find today, a democratic authority. Democracy means which helps in promoting self-rule and shared rule. So we are part of the decision making. Since we are part of the decision making, our autonomy is not impacted. I accept the decision. What is made by Modi? Modi exercises authority. But I accept the decision. Why I accept the decision? Because I have delegated this power of decision making to him. I know what decision he makes. By choosing him, I know what decision he makes. So I accept it, willingly accept. So willing consent became the ground theme of political life. From community as a moralizing agent, we move to willing consent. I accept the decision because I have given my consent, willing consent, as a free individual. As a free individual, I have given my willing consent, so I accept the decision made by the authority. Right? But this also transformed into the contemporary. This freedom of the individual did not help in promoting the freedom of all. Only some enjoyed this freedom. Others were left behind. For example, the freedom that is identified did not help in recognizing the rights of the blacks in America. America acquired independence in 1787, French Revolution in 1789. America acquired independence in 1787. Till date, they did not have an elected women president. The blacks in America only secured political rights, that means right to vote, only in 1960s after a struggle which led by Martin Luther King Jr. Right? So this idea of individual freedom or individual autonomy did not help in reaching out to all sections of the people. So this is where you find the contemporary political thought. The contemporary political ideas, right, focus back in maintaining a balance between freedom of individual and freedom of community. This is where contemporary ideas are emancipatory ideas. Emancipatory means how to emancipate the underprivileged. Emancipatory ideas, right? So the decision that Modi has made in extending 1/3 of the seats reserved for women in Parliament and Lok Sabha, in Parliament and state assemblies, is an emancipatory decision, if you look at from that point of view. Because women are not completely free. They are not part of the political decision-making process. They are left behind. So women as a group is left behind. Not only in India, even in most industrially advanced societies like America. So there is a focused attention in terms of those who are left out from this idea of autonomy and authority. So the focus has shifted back to community, particularly the underprivileged communities. So the contemporary political ideas centered around underprivileged community. This is what we also identify as subaltern studies. Subaltern studies. Subaltern means those who are underprivileged, those who are not essential part of the society, those who are left out of political decision making, right? So this is where the idea of justice transformed. The idea of justice is not limited to individual freedom. Initially it was community as a moralizing agent. Justice is prevailed. Justice is realized in terms of community as a moralizing agent. In modern times, justice prevails when individual autonomy and authority are balanced. And in contemporary, justice prevails when sections of the population are emancipated. Emancipated. That's the reason why we find new ideas, new thinking. New thinking which questioned patriarchy. New thinking which questioned patriarchy. This is where you find gender justice. Gender justice as part of this emancipatory idea. Right? Rejecting the dominance of patriarchy, male domination, and recognizing the women is what we find in contemporary. So similarly, the contemporary thought is emancipatory because it does not limit itself to the study of elites, but instead it focuses to study the masses. Because whatever hitherto history that you study is the history of the elite. Even when you read your Sipahi Mutiny, you only study Jhansi Lakshmi Bai, Tantia Topes, but not the real people who were behind waging the war. Right? So history has to be reconstructed. This is what we call deconstruction theory. Deconstruction means you have to reinterpret. You have to reinterpret the history. History from below, not history from above. So you have to re-understand the focus. So where do you find this? You only find elite history as part of the literature. But where do you find mass history? So mass history still survives as part of folklore, as part of Janapadas, folklore. So the mass history can be reinvented. Mass history can be reconstructed. This is where the emancipatory potential of masses is highlighted. That means you have to identify not the elite. History has to be reconstructed. This is what even now and then you find Prime Minister stating that we are still practicing colonial history, colonial laws. We have to rebuild. reconstruct our own laws, right? To shed away the concept of slavery. So even IPC, CRPC, all these are changed, but not in terms of the true masses. Again, it is some sort of a elite relationship. What we are trying to rewrite is the elite understanding of the history, but what in the contemporary we want is the mass. So mass history is not in the written form. You don't find any signs, symbols and rock edicts as represented by the winning kings. Kings, they try to establish themselves, identify themselves in terms of rock edicts, but you don't find mass. But mass history survives as part of the collective memory. Part of collective memory, which has to be reconstructed. Got it? So that's the reason why contemporary is more primarily focused on emancipation of the subalterns, the underprivileged. Right? So freedom of the individual did not extend in terms of promoting the freedom of the underprivileged communities. So political theory or political ideas should focus in terms of emancipating, right, the Dalits, emancipation of the Dalits, emancipation of the Adivasis, emancipation of the women, right? Likewise, wherever you find underprivileged sections of the society, they need to be emancipated. This is the understanding of political. Otherwise, you cannot create a just social order. If you want to create a just social order, then the political decision making should be emancipatory in the present. Right? That's the reason why you find MRPS today. Madiga Reservation Porata Samiti has come only in late 90s. It was not there. It was not there prior to that. All these identity politics have come only in early 90s. Yadav identity, Bahujan identity, right? Bahujan identity, Bahujan Samaj Party or Yadav identity, Samajwadi Party or Rashtriya Janata Dal or Madiga Reservation Porata Samiti. They all evolved as part of this deprivation. They thought that individual autonomy did not help in guaranteeing their emancipation. Right? So the focus has shifted to emancipate the communities which are left out. From this. Understand? So this is only an introductory, this thing, what I am actually delivering. Probably a series of introductory lectures will continue for 1 hour, as long as you have patience. I have patience. As long as you have patience to listen. Right? So this is a brief introduction that I wanted to give you. What is political? Because political ultimately deals with 2 aspects. Right? How decisions are made. And why should I obey? Why should I obey the decision? Right? So initially it laced with morality in promoting an ethical way of life. This is how the Greeks tried to promote political life. Greeks tried to promote political life as part of an ethical life, a quality life. And that's the reason Greeks did not appreciate democracy. For them, democracy is a rule of ignorance. So democracy cannot help in promoting quality of life. So they did not believe in quantity. They believed in quality. So you find this expression in Plato. Plato believed in a philosopher king, someone knowledgeable to rule. If you fall sick, where will you go? If you fall sick, you will go to a specialist, doctor. Similarly, if society falls sick, you need a person, a philosopher, who has the knowledge to help get out of the rot that sets into the society. So they believed in specialists. That's the reason why they did not appreciate democracy. For them, democracy is rule of ignorant. But something that prevailed for almost 1500 years, community as a moralizing agent. But what made us to think differently? What made us think differently is the developments in physics. Development in physics, particularly Copernicus, he helped us to understand that we are not geocentric but heliocentric. Otherwise, till the advent of Copernicus, we only believed that everything is geocentric, earth-centric. But Copernicus established that it is not geocentric, that we are part of a solar system. Heliocentric, we are revolving around the sun. This shift we experience in political science from something given to something that can be made. So we moved away from natural to artificial. Nothing is given. Nothing is given. Everything can be constructed. Societies can be constructed. State can be constructed. If you don't accept the society, if you are not happy with the existing society, we can construct another society where we can be free, where we can realize justice. So this is the idea, very powerful idea, that nothing is given, nothing is natural, everything is artificial. State is artificial. Society is artificial. Right? So individual is not bound by any nature. So we can construct new societies, we can construct new states. This is a very powerful idea, influenced by the development in physics. Nothing is given. Everything is constructed. So everything is artificial. If you don't like one house, you can always demolish and build one more to your own liking. Now, there is no justification in continuing to remain in the same house which was built by your forefathers. Because nothing is given. Nothing is given. So what you gained is only a piece of land. Now you can remodel it the way you want. There is no obligation on your part to continue to remain in the same house forever. Right? You can develop, you can construct the house according to your own choice. A very powerful idea that has come into the understanding of political life. Nothing is given. Everything is constructed. You can shape your own future. You can shape your own present. You need not accept the past as given. So this brought a change in values. You don't have to accept the values as given. Because nothing is given. Nothing is given. Everything, including ethical life. That's the reason why it rejected, separated ethics and politics. You find it in Machiavelli. It separated ethics and politics and focused in terms of realizing the individual rather than community. Realizing the individual, self-realization of individual, not the community. Community is ignored, individual is brought to the forefront. Got it? But contemporary, again experience a shift because whatever ideas that we represented as part of the modern did not help in terms of all sections of the population. The freedom of individual did not guarantee the freedom of the women. The freedom of the individual did not guarantee the freedom of the Dalits. The freedom of the individual did not guarantee the freedom of the Adivasis. So how to emancipate them? Without the emancipation of all sections, we cannot create a just social order. The political decision making should help in emancipation. So emancipation is only possible when we rewrite their own history. So we cannot limit ourselves in understanding the history that is given by from above. We can rewrite the history of the masses from below. Right? There may not be any evidence like rock edicts, but collective memory. Collective memory provides us with ample opportunity to rewrite history. The folklore passed down from one generation to another generation, where they appreciate the heroism of the local leaders. Right? So in a way you can say that Samakka Saraka. So history of the Samakka and Sarakas rather than history of the sancretized gods. The sancretized gods of our own civilization. And you don't have to remit yourself to the study of history of Tirupati or Kalahasti or Srisailam. You have to rewrite the history of the ignorant. The people who are left behind, like the Samakkas and Sarakas. That is where you find the emancipatory potential. Right? So individual freedom and community needs to be balanced, because there are certain communities which are left behind in this surge towards individual freedom. Communities which are left behind should also be emancipated. Right? And this is there with every society. Even most advanced, industrially advanced society like America has this problem. That's the reason why even of late we have seen social movements originating in America. Black Lives Matters. What does it symbolize? That means there are hierarchies that are continued to be practiced in American society. Hierarchy in terms of white supremacism versus black. So even after gaining political freedoms, the blacks are not emancipated. Got it? So individual is individual, whether it is white or black. Everyone should have equal rights. Born free and equal. Got it? It is an accident that you are born as a Hindu. It is another accident that you are born as a Muslim. Now both should have equal rights. Understand? Both should have equal rights. Right? It is accidental birth that has made you part of a religious denomination. So you cannot say only Hindu majority will survive, or you cannot say only Muslim appeasement continues. There has to be a balance. Without maintaining the balance, you are ignoring the essence of politics. Politics should help in terms of recognizing the individual freedom, autonomy of the individual. So whichever religion he professes, it should be respected. And it should also maintain a coherent community life, not incoherent. Right? So, మీరు పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్ ఏ చదివినా కూడా ఏన్షియంట్ గ్రీక్ వెళ్ళి ప్రజెంట్కి ఈ థీమ్ చుట్టే ఉంది. హౌ టు మెయింటైన్ ద బ్యాలెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ఇండివిజువల్ అండ్ కమ్యూనిటీ. పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్ ఈ డెలికేట్ బ్యాలెన్స్ని ఏ విధంగా సేఫ్ గార్డ్ చేయాలి. గ్రీక్స్కేమో ఈజీగా చేసారు, నేచర్ అన్నారు, ప్రతిదీ న్యాచురల్ అన్నారు. కనుక నేచర్ని నువ్వు డిఫై చేయలేవు కదా. తుఫాన్ ఆపుకుంటావు నువ్వు. తుఫాన్ వచ్చింది, రెనలా ఏంది నిన్న వచ్చింది కదా, రెనల్. సో రెనల్ వస్తే ఏం చేస్తావు నువ్వు? అడ్డం పోతావా? యూ ట్రై టు సేఫ్ గార్డ్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్, అంటే యూ ట్రై టు మెయింటైన్ హార్మోనీ విత్ దట్. అంతే కదా. ఎదురు తిరిగి అయితే పోవు కదా. యూ యాక్సెప్ట్ ఇట్. సో ఇదే అండర్స్టాండింగ్ గ్రీక్స్కు. కనుక నేచర్ అనేది మనం మార్చలేము. మార్చినప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలి? హార్మోనీ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి. సో గ్రీక్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ అంతా దానిపైనే ఉంది. సో కమ్యూనిటీ ఇది మారలైజింగ్ ఏజెంట్ కనుక మనం కమ్యూనిటీ ఏది చెప్తే అట్లా వింటే వి మెయింటైన్ ఆర్డర్. కానీ మోడర్న్కి వచ్చేసరికి పర్సెప్షన్ మారిపోయింది. దానికి ఎందుకు మారింది కూడా చెప్పిన. కోపర్నికస్ పర్సెప్షన్ మారింది. కమ్యూనిటీ ఏంది? పొద్దున్న లేస్తే కమ్యూనిటీ అంటే మరి ఇండివిజువల్ ఏం కావాలి? ఫ్రీడమ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇండివిజువల్ ఏం కావాలి? కనుక ఇండివిజువల్ ఫ్రీడమ్ని అసర్షన్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చారు. సో ఇండివిజువల్ ఫ్రీడమ్ని ఇగ్నోర్ చేయలేం. కనుక దీన్ని ఇండివిజువల్ ఫ్రీడమ్ని రికగ్నైజ్ చేయాలి, ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయాలంటే లిబరల్ డెమోక్రసీ ఉండాలి. ఇండివిజువల్కి ఫ్రీడమ్ ఇవ్వకపోతే సొసైటల్ గ్రోత్ ఉండదు, డెవలప్మెంట్ ఉండదు. నీకు ఫ్రీడమ్ ఉన్నప్పుడే నువ్వు కొత్త ఎకనామిక్ యాక్టివిటీ తోటి ముందుకు వస్తావు. ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ వచ్చింది, ఫ్రీడమ్ లేకపోతే రాదు. ఫ్రీడమ్ ఉన్నప్పుడే కొత్త ఐడియాస్ వస్తాయి. సో కొత్త ఐడియాస్ వచ్చినా కనుక ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ వచ్చింది, సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ డెవలప్ అయింది. సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ నుంచి ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ అయింది. అదే కొత్త ఐడియాస్ రాకపోతే ఏమవుతుంటే పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది స్టాగ్నెంట్ సొసైటీ. ఇవాళ ఒక డిబేట్ నడుస్తుంది, ఇండియన్ సొసైటీ ఎందుకు స్పిరిచువలిజం సైడ్ వచ్చింది, వెస్ట్రన్ సొసైటీస్ మెటీరియలిజం సైడ్ పోయింది, అంటే ప్రొడక్షన్ సైడ్ పోయింది, ఎకనామిక్ సైడ్ పోయింది. కారణం ఏంటంటే ఈ రినైజెన్స్, యూరోపియన్ రినైజెన్స్ ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో అది ఇట్ హ్యాస్ బ్రాట్ దిస్ ఇండివిజువల్ ఫ్రీడమ్. కనుక వాళ్ళు అక్కడ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ ప్రాస్పరిటీ సైడ్ పోయారు. ఇండియన్ రినైజెన్స్ ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో 1890s ఇట్ మూవ్ నాట్ టువర్డ్స్ వెస్టర్న్ సివిలైజేషన్, వెస్టర్న్ మెటీరియలిజం, బట్ వి రివైవ్డ్ స్పిరిచువలిజం. సనాతన ధర్మాన్ని రివైవ్ చేసుకున్నాం. కనుక ఏమైంది, మనం prior to the advent of British, India was one of the superpowers economically. Asia dominated the world economically. So colonial period లోనే మనం we went behind. కనుక ఏమైంది, వై ఎకనామిక్ యాక్టివిటీ ఎందుకు రాలేదు అంటే కొత్త ఐడియాస్ రాలేదు. ఎందుకు రాలేదంటే we moved towards spiritualism. వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ స్పిరిచువలిజం అండ్ మెటీరియలిజం అనేది ఒక సింగిల్ క్వశ్చన్ మనకు వస్తే, మెటీరియలిజం అంటే సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటుంది, స్పిరిచువలిజం అంటే సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ ఉంటుంది. మనిషికి సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ని ప్రమోట్ చేస్తే వాడికి కొత్త ఐడియాస్ రావు, ఒబీడియన్స్ మాత్రమే నేర్చుకుంటాడు. ఫ్యామిలీలో ఏముంటుంది? ఫ్యామిలీలో సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ ఉంటుందా, సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటుందా? మీ మదర్ సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ చూపిస్తుందా, సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ చూపిస్తుందా? ఇన్సైడ్ ద ఫ్యామిలీ ఏముంటుంది? ఇన్సైడ్ ద ఫ్యామిలీలో ఏముంటుంది? ఎథికల్ వే ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ ఉంటుంది, సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ ఉంటుంది. కానీ పక్కనోని కూడా అదే అఫెక్షన్ చూపియం. పక్క ఫ్యామిలీకి వచ్చేందుడే సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ వస్తుంది, రైట్? సో ఫ్యామిలీలో ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసిన సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ని మనం సొసైటీలోకి తీసుకొని వచ్చినాం, దాన్నే స్పిరిచువలిజం అన్నాం. గాట్ ఇట్? మెటీరియలిజం అంటే ఏంది? ఫ్యామిలీలో కూడా సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటుంది. అందుకొరకు అమెరికాలో ఇండివిజువాలిటీ ఎక్కువ. అంటే ఎక్కడ సెల్ఫ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉందో అక్కడ కాంపిటేటివ్నెస్ ఉంటుంది. సొసైటీలో కాంపిటేటివ్నెస్ ఉంటుంది, ఎందుకంటే ఎవ్రీ వన్ విల్ ట్రై టు రియలైజ్ దర్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్. ఎక్కడ సెల్ఫ్లెస్నెస్ ఉందో అక్కడ స్పిరిచువలిజం ఉంటుంది. అంటే ఎకనామిక్ కాంపిటీషన్ కనిపించదు. కాంపిటేటివ్ వరల్డ్ ఏంది, ఎకనామిక్ యాక్టివిటీ ముందుకు పోదు. కాంపిటేటివ్ వరల్డ్ ఉన్నప్పుడే ఎకనామిక్ యాక్టివిటీ అడ్వాన్స్ అవుతుంది. అర్థమైందా? సో పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్స్ అనేది సొసైటీకే పరిమితం కాలేదు. సో పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్స్ అనేది ఆల్సో ఇంపాక్ట్ ది ఎకానమీ. సో ఆ బ్యాలెన్స్ మెయింటైన్ చేసుడే పాలిటిక్స్. సొసైటీలోకి ఇంటర్ఫియర్ అవుతాం, ఎకానమీలో ఇంటర్ఫియర్ అవుతాం. కనుక ఇవన్నీ సబ్ డిసిప్లిన్ కిందకి రాలేదు, ముందు మనం మొత్తము ఫిలాసఫీ కిందకే చూసినాం. అందుకొరకే ఏన్షియంట్ గ్రీక్ మొత్తము ఫిలాసఫీ అంటే క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్. మోడర్న్కి వచ్చిన తర్వాతనే సైంటిఫిక్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ డెవలప్ అయ్యింది. అంటే ఫిలాసఫీ నుంచి బయటపడ్డాం, సైన్స్కి వచ్చింది, సైంటిఫిక్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్కి వచ్చింది మోడర్న్ పీరియడ్లో. కానీ సైన్స్కి ఆల్సో కమ్స్ విత్ లిమిటేషన్. సైన్స్ ద్వారా సంపాదించిన నాలెడ్జ్ డిడ్ నాట్ హెల్ప్ ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎమాన్సిపేషన్ ఆఫ్ ది అండర్ ప్రివిలేజ్డ్. న్యూక్లియర్ బాంబ్ వస్తే ఏమైంది? దళితులు ఎమాన్సిపేట్ అయ్యారా? ఇండియా 5 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ అయితే ఏమైంది? పూర్ రిమైన్స్ పూర్. 5 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ అయినా 10 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ అయినా ఎవరికి బెనిఫిట్ అవుతుంది? ఓన్లీ ది 1% or 10% ఆఫ్ ది ఇండియన్ పాపులేషన్ స్టాండ్స్ బెనిఫిటెడ్. స్టాటిస్టిక్స్ ఏ ఉన్నాయి, ఆయన పికెటీ ఇచ్చిండు. 1% క్యాప్చర్ 40% ఆఫ్ జీడిపి. బ్యాలెన్స్ 60% is shared by 99%. దానిలో కూడా 9% క్యాప్చర్ అనదర్ 20%. అంటే బ్యాలెన్స్ 90% షేర్ 40%. దీంట్లో కూడా 40% మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఉన్నారు. 90% పాపులేషన్ మిడిల్ క్లాస్ షేర్ 30% ఆఫ్ దిస్ 40%, 35%. అంటే 50% ఆఫ్ ది ఇండియన్ పాపులేషన్ హ్యాస్ access only to 5% of GDP. అంటే ఇండియా రేపు 10 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ అయినా 20 ట్రిలియన్ ఎకానమీ అయినా ఈ ఓషన్ ఆఫ్ పావర్టీ అట్లే ఉంటుంది. హూ స్టాండ్స్ బెనిఫిటెడ్? ఈ 1%, 10%, 1% అవుతుంది అప్పుడు. దే స్టాండ్ బెనిఫిటెడ్, రైట్? దిస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ ఫెయిర్ పొలిటికల్ సొసైటీ. ఫెయిర్ ఆర్ జస్ట్ ఎప్పుడు ఉంటుంది? వెన్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ హ్యాస్ ఎ ఫెయిర్ ఆపర్చునిటీ. ఎలిట్ కంట్రోల్ కాకుండా అందరికీ ఫెయిర్ ఆపర్చునిటీ ఉన్నప్పుడే పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్ ఈస్ హెల్పింగ్ ఇన్ ప్రమోటింగ్ ఎ జస్ట్ సోషల్ ఆర్డర్. రేపు కంటిన్యూ చేద్దాం. ఏమైనా అర్థమైందా? ఫాలోడ్? సో థీమ్ అయితే ఇదే, 2 పేపర్లు చదువుకునే థీమ్ ఇదే, పేపర్ 1లో పేపర్ 2లో. ఎందుకు పాలిటిక్స్ అర్థం చేసుకోవాలంటే ఇది. పేపర్ 1లో డొమెస్టిక్ ఇంటర్నల్గా, పేపర్ 2లో ఎక్స్టర్నల్, రైట్? ఇదే థీము. ఎక్స్టర్నల్గా ఎట్లా చూడాలి, పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్స్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ రిలేషన్స్ ఏ విధంగా షేప్ చేస్తుంది, పొలిటికల్ డిసిషన్స్ ఎట్లయితే ఇంటర్నల్ సొసైటీని ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ చేస్తుందో హౌ ఆర్ దే ఏబుల్ టు షేప్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ రిలేషన్స్. సో దీనికి మధ్యాహ్నం ఒకటి పెట్టిండి ఏంటంటే పేపర్ 2లో కంపారిజన్ అన్నట్టు. సో పేపర్ 2 వీ హ్యావ్ బోత్ కంపారిటివ్ పాలిటిక్స్ అండ్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్. కంపారిటివ్ పాలిటిక్స్లో హౌ టు కంపేర్ సొసైటీస్. సొసైటీస్లో ఏ విధంగా పొలిటికల్ పార్టిసిపేషన్ ఉంది, ఎలాంటి పొలిటికల్ కల్చర్ ఉంది, నిజంగానే ప్రజలు డిసిషన్ మేకింగ్లో భాగస్వాములు అవుతున్నారా, లేకపోతే దే ఆర్ ఓన్లీ రిసిపియంట్స్ ఆఫ్ ది డిసిషన్ మేకింగ్. ఆర్ దే పార్టిసిపెంట్స్ ఆర్ రిసిపియంట్స్? ఏ సొసైటీ ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, కంపారిజన్. అమెరికాలో ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, యూరోప్లో ఏ విధంగా ఉంది, ఏషియాలో ఏ విధంగా, కంపారిజన్ ఆఫ్ రెస్పెక్టివ్ పొలిటికల్ కల్చర్స్. పార్టిసిపెంట్ పొలిటికల్ కల్చరా ఆర్ సబ్జెక్ట్ పొలిటికల్ కల్చరా, కంపారిజన్లో అర్థం చేసుకుంటాం. ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్కి వస్తే ఈ డిసిషన్స్ ఏ విధంగా ఇంపాక్ట్ అవుతుంది, రైట్? సో థీమ్ అయితే ఒకటే, థీమ్లో మార్పు ఉండాలి. ఏ విధంగా డిసిషన్ చేస్తున్నాం దానికి ఒకటే ఏంటంటే, ఇంటర్నల్గా ఏంటంటే వీఆర్ అండర్ ఆబ్లిగేషన్ టు రెస్పెక్ట్ ది అథారిటీ. ఎక్స్టర్నల్గా ఆబ్లిగేషన్ ఉండదు. మనం తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయాన్ని పాకిస్తాన్ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయడు కదా, పాకిస్తాన్కి అయితే ఆబ్లిగేషన్ లేదు కదా. అది పాకిస్తాన్ ఏ విధంగా మనం డిసిషన్ మేకింగ్లోకి తీసుకురావాలి, అదే ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్. ఇంటర్నల్గా అయితే మనకు డిసిషన్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం, రైట్. పాకిస్తాన్ని కూడా ఏ విధంగా తీసుకురావాలి, మన ఇంట్రెస్ట్ని సెక్యూర్ చేసుకోవడం, దాన్ని ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్ అంట. సో పేపర్ పెద్ద ఎగ్జాస్టివ్గా అనిపిస్తుంది కానీ అంత కాదు అది. ఇఫ్ యూ ఫాలో ద సిలబస్ కేర్ఫుల్లీ, సిలబస్ని చూసుకొని రండి, కేర్ఫుల్గా సిలబస్ని ఫాలో అయితే చాలా సింపుల్. ఒకటే ఒక థీమ్ని ఇలా ఎక్స్పాండ్ చేస్తుంది. సెక్షన్ ఏ, సెక్షన్ బి, పేపర్ 1, అదేవిధంగా పేపర్ 2, సెక్షన్ ఏ, సెక్షన్ బి, థీమ్ ఒకటే, దాన్ని ఎలాబరేట్ చేసి. సో మనము ఇఫ్ యూ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ది పేపర్ ఫ్రమ్ one single theme, that helps you in terms of understanding it better, right? సో ఒకటే థీమ్ని పట్టుకొని అర్థం చేసుకున్నప్పుడు మీకు అప్పుడు సిలబస్ మేక్ సెన్స్. సిలబస్ చదవండి, చూసుకొని రండి, దెన్ ఇట్ మేక్స్ సెన్స్. థ్యాంక్ యూ. విల్ మీట్ టుమారో. ప్లీజ్ గో త్రూ ది సిలబస్. క్లాస్కి వచ్చేయండి.